A new student either tries returning a handkerchief he finds, but accidentally sees the owner changing. It's only his first day at Sudoku Academy, but she challenges him to a duel regardless. Introducing herself Julius, a Striga, rank 5 at the academy he accepts, however destroys the other school's badge wins. She launches many attacks, using her fire-based skills to begin the assault. Her confidence wavers as he deflects everything she throws at him. Someone is trying to take advantage of the duel and litters her with arrows, so he tackles her to the ground. Claudia steps in and stops the duel. In her office, she begins to explain to Ayato how all of the schools on the island participate in festas tournaments that pit kids against one each other. He primarily concerned about his sister after 6 months in Sudokan. Her records have been almost completely deleted, but her old weapons and ogre Lux, known as Sir Veresta, is still in hands of the school. Julius is in the same class as her and he wants to befriend her. She keeps people at distance, but she concedes she owes him one. Yabuki, another student and Ayato's new roommate, tells him that um where are we at now? Lester, rank 9, a page 1, challenges Julius to a duel for fighting a novice. Although he's already lost 3 times to her, when he claims she fights for fun, she gets angry and tells him off. She's not fighting for excitement of it, she's not determined. Arthur has a dream about his sister Huraka, who warns him to be cautious about with his friend until he discovers his life's purpose. The next day, Ayako steps in, introducing himself to Lester, who sulks away as Yabuki records the whole thing. Ayato questions why Julius fights. She says it's for the prize money from the Phoenix Fiesta. Yabuki mentions it's a tag team, wondering if she's found a partner. A little embarrassed, Julius' idol partner should be Page 1, who fights with honor. Yabuki runs off to take a call, and Ayato asks Julius where the boy's dorms is. He needs someone to show him around the city and uses his favor to get Julius on board. Julius shocks the class, begrudgingly saying good morning back to Ayato. Apparently, she barely even speaks to anyone. Noticing Saya, a childhood friend, is also in his class, surprises Ayato. Asking about her dad, he finds the reason she's there to show off the guns he designs. Jules and Saya fight over who should show Ayato around when Claudia randomly shows up, offering instead, but she's really there to get her signature to check out a weapon the next day. Jules and Saya agree to show Ayato around together, though Saya is directionally challenged and needs the tour as much as he needs. The two girls begin arguing over Ayato before they start a duel. More arrows narrowly miss Julius. Saya tries hitting the assailant, who ends up escaping. The next day, Ayato goes to sign out a weapon. He turns out Lester is trying to check out Sir Veresta too, but his compatibility is only 30%. It keeps going down. Even into the negatives as he fights the sword, Ogre Lux will have will of their own, according to Claudia, turns heading straight to him, trying to break through the barrier. He catches it by the handle and forces the sword to blend to will. Compatibility 97%. Claudia asks him a favor, telling him to come to her place by night. Walking in, he sees her just getting out of the shower. Her room is way nicer than the dorms. Apparently, her status as a page 1 grants her more privileges, like private quarters, not being the student council president, which is more trouble than it's worth. But she likes the trouble. Apparently, the students who intended to enter the Fiesta are suffering the major injuries, forcing them to withdraw. Lester is the prime suspect, but it doesn't add up. Claudia asks Aito to keep an eye on Jules since he's been the target of the recent attacks. Offering him a reward for asking a request, Ida gets flustered and runs out of the quarters. The next day, Julius shows him around Asterisk City. There aren't many rules regarding duels or anything else. People fight. In the streets, fairly often, instead of cameras scattered, I have to tell Julius that she might want to be careful alone or duel anyone. Lester shows up right as she finishes warning her and starts to attack. They run into street brawl, but Julius notes it's a setup to make it seem like an accident instead of a target attack. One of the thugs from Road notices the guy who hired him, and Julius runs after him. Ato follows and getting looks destroyed after the attackers escape. Julius invites Ato over the quarters at the night, telling him to take off his clothes. Flusters Ayato, realizing Julius tells him out of the gutter. She just wants to soothe the tears in his clothes. Apparently, back home, she used to run away and play with the kids back at the orphanage after they saved her from some thugs. They're the ones who gave her the handkerchief and taught her how to sew. The next morning, Julius reads the letter and distracting her from answering Ayato and greeting him good morning. Claudia asks about it and tells Ayato he's a fool for not realizing that it isn't Julius doesn't trust him enough to say something. It's that she wants to protect him. With that, he runs after Julius while Claudia throws him that Cerveresta. Julius arrives at the meeting place detailed in the letter. The one behind the attack turns out to be Silas Norman, one of the Lester's lackeys. He lets slip that Lester's one of the attack while someone else duels, but only someone watching her and Ayato duel would know that. Lester arrives and demands to know if what he said is true. Silas brought him there to be the fall guy. When he tries to attack Silas, one of the hooded assailants stops his acts with their bare hands. They aren't students, they're puppets controlled by Silas. Lester says it doesn't matter how many attacks his. How about 121 of them? Julius calls him out for working with Arculacant, the only school capable of producing armor that can withstand her attacks. Knowing that Silas can leave her alone, Ayato shows up in time, apologizing for his tardiness. Julius doesn't need his help, but she has people she needs to protect, so who's gonna protect her? It seems Ayato has found his purpose. Ayato has strict up his sleeves, asking his celestial bonds to release him, suddenly unleashes his true powers, allowing him to figure out that Silas can only move 6 puppets at once. 16 can execute simple patterns, and the rest can only execute basic movements like a game of chess. Easily defeating the puppets, Ayato thinks it's over, but Silas has a backup plan. It's a huge the puppet that is, but still not a match for Cerveresta. Silas attempts to run, Julius uses her powers to carry Ayato, flying him over. Silas falls to the ground, they leave it to Claudia to deal with him. Ayato screams as the purple chains wrap around his body and he passes out. He has a flashback to his sister casting a spell with this celestial shackles. I bind your savage force, telling him she has no choice before disappearing. He comes to in Julius's lap, trying to apologize. She tells him to stop being an idiot. It's fine. Wondering that those chains were, he explains that his sister's power is binding. Apparently, he can only use his fires for up to 5 minutes. Ayato offers to be her partner in the fiesta, finding his purpose she accepts. When Yabuki appears from the shadows, look like they're up to something. Another mysterious figure watches, the one who creates the puppets. The student council presidents gather for a meeting. They question Claudia about alquerlants and Sudokun's collaboration in developing a new technology. The representative from Eloquent asks if it's possible to review the rules surrounding AI and potentially allow them to compete in the fiesta. Ayato is late for his training lesson with Julius and runs right into Kieran, who is also rushing somewhere. Another embarrassing moment with yet another girl. An older man yells at her to hurry up. Julius is annoyed that she still can beat Ayato in a duel. He manages to last for 3 minutes now, so beating students at Julius' level should be easy, but there are students even stronger than her. They have aged though secrecy, nothing has seemed to go out. Seiya and Lester show up. She accuses Julius of keeping a monopoly on Ayato, doing unskippable acts during their one-on-one sessions. Lester struggles to keep up with the tough guy facade. Thank you, Ayato, for saving him the other day. Thanks for watching. Wait for the next episode, okay?